how's it going? Good afternoon. And the Utah Hockey Club, they get I give it a nice woo, but not the huge woo. 5-2, they take care of business against the Chicago Blackhawks today like they should. That is a team that they ought to be taking care of business against. And to come out and clinically perform in that third period the way that they needed to there, they nursed a 3-2 lead going into it and then found their way to seal it in that third period. That was a great performance by the Utah Hockey Club, closing out the season series against the Chicago Blackhawks, where they win 3 out of 4 against the Blackhawks in their inaugural season. So there they are. They get the win in Chicago, 5-2. And, third period goals by Kailer Yamamoto and Logan Cooley put it away. Welcome to After the Buzzer. My name is Keith Schertz. I run things here at Hive State Hockey. And we are absolutely excited to see those of you who are return visitors, like our man Car Wash in the chat. What's up, Car Wash? Car Wash! He's here. We're excited about that. Hopefully we'll see a couple of our other friends. If you are a returning visitor, I congratulate you very much on your phenomenal taste. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. Hopefully it is a place that you come to hang out and talk a little Utah Hockey Club. Talk a little hockey. Get a little hockey in your soul. In your soul. So, there we are. Let's take a quick look at the game today. Quick look on the game today. Utah, again, they take care of business in the third. There was a really wild moment, I guess, in the second period where just a ton of scoring happened. We know it was a wild moment, and we know that scoring was happening in wild ways because Nick DeSimone, the answer to who were they going to play instead of Olli Maatta, Nick DeSimone, he finds his way onto the score sheet today. Goal for Nick DeSimone. Congratulations to him. Alexander Kerfoot on the assist. Kevin Stenlund also on the assist on that one. Then the Blackhawks rattle off 2 straight goals, and it wasn't looking good. Great finish by Joe Veleno on his goal. And then Ryan Donato scores from Connor Bedard. Mikhail Sergachev gets his 14th goal of the season, again building on probably his greatest statistical season in his career. He's been a great revelation. It's everything that you would have wanted when you made that trade. So congratulations to Bill Armstrong. Congratulations to Bill Armstrong on how that trade has turned out for him. Alexander Kerfoot then gets the sick redirect. This is awesome. Sick redirect off of the Mikhail Sergachev wrister from the blue line. Third period, Yamamoto pounces on a rebound off of Alexander Kerfoot's shot. Goes off the pads. Yamamoto slams that thing on the back of net for his first goal of this season. And then Logan Cooley puts in goal number 22 on the year. And he just continues to rack it up for the Utah Hockey Club and continue to compete in a way that's really, really impressive for this team. So, Utah Hockey Club gets the win 5-2 against the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks had a rest advantage going into this game. Doesn't always matter, but usually seems pretty important. As it relates to the playoff hunt, just to talk... actually, first, I do want to call this out. They did it. They finally did it. After... let me do the math real quick. I didn't add it up. 3 hours and math live, 3.5 hours, just under 3.5 hours. Just under 3.5 hours, they finally got their 5-on-5 goal. Again, Nick DeSimone scoring at 5-on-5 even strength. So that goal drought ends after 3 full games without scoring when it was 5-on-5. So it is an interesting period of time where you can have that streak happen and you have a 3-game road trip And before the season, if you would have looked at it and said, okay, the Tampa Bay, Florida, and Chicago road trip is coming, it's a back-to-back with a third game in 4 nights. If you would have told me we could have come out of that with 4 points, there's a very good reason to feel like that would have been a good thing. That would have been a helpful thing for this team to come away 3 points. But given how hot St. Louis is, it's one of those things. Car wash, we'll talk. I'll show you. I can tell you a little bit about my bracket here in a minute. I need to go check. It's been a few days since I've taken a look at it. I should give it a look. A couple big games, though, tonight, I know. So that's where we're at with the Utah Hockey Club as it relates. 78 points in the standings. And that wild card spot just seems like a million miles away. They're 9 points away as of the moment that we are speaking right now. St. Louis has played one more game than Utah. And so there you go. So 9 points out. They could bring it down to 7. What they really genuinely need is they need the St. Louis Blues to fall off a cliff. Something wild has to happen. That's the best team in hockey right now. They have found a way to score and play defense, and that St. Louis team looks like a nightmare to deal with right now if you're one of those top teams in the West. I know Winnipeg is currently slated for them, but there's a real good chance that they're going to pass up Minnesota before it's all said and done. The other notable thing, since we believe the playoffs are done anyway here, cool. So one of the main things that I want to bring up is tonight they score their 78th point of the season. That puts them 1 point ahead of what the Arizona Coyotes were able to get to last season. So, slight improvement. Arizona finished 7th in the Central Division. Utah is going to finish 6th in the Central Division, so it is a slow climb year over year. But with 7 games remaining, this team surpasses the point total of last year's team in Arizona. So 77 points for the Coyotes last year, 78 points for Utah with 8 games remaining. That is how that shakes out. If you want my update on kind of where I was, I did a preseason where I selected every single game before the season. The Utah Hockey Club currently sits at 78 points. I had them at 77 points following all of these games and ending at 87 points. So we like them in 5 of the last 8 games. And so we'll see what they are able to do. We'll see what they're able to do as they close out the season. Obviously, a slog of really tough games. This game against Calgary is really big. Both teams trying to catch up to St. Louis and now Minnesota, because St. Louis has caught Minnesota. They are both 7-9 points back. They are all the way out. This is a true eliminator game if they aren't both already eliminated. If you still are holding on to hope, this is definitely an eliminator game all the way. So that's where things currently stand. That is what the story is with Utah Hockey Club. As you know, in hockey, we love hockey. Great game, great sport. One of the things that is fun about following the sport of hockey is that they give out a lot of different awards. They give out the award for most points scored by defensemen. They give out an award for the best defensive forward. They have all sorts of awards in hockey, way more awards than basically any other sport. And in honor of that, we also give out awards here from time to time when the Utah Hockey Club come away with a win. So here we go. The award when you beat the Chicago Blackhawks is the Poisoned Pizza Award. Congratulations to the now the question is which Utah Hockey Club player is going to come away with the Poisoned Pizza Award? Well, it's pretty simple. There's no Different criteria. It's awarded to the number one star, the first star of the game for Utah Hockey Club whenever they beat the Chicago Blackhawks. So there you go, the Poison Pizza Award. And tonight, accepting the Poison Pizza Award, there he is in all of his glory. Look at that. So stern. What a stern look he has on his face as he takes the Poison Pizza Award into his hands, his gifted hands, which had 1 goal and 2 assists. That is Alexander Kerfoot. So congratulations to Alexander Kerfoot. All your dreams, all that time, working hard in the gym, making sure you put in all that extra effort. It was all worth it, pal. Today, you are the recipient of the Poison Pizza Award. You are the 3rd recipient of the Poison Pizza Award. The first 2 recipients of the Poison Pizza Award, and it's worth talking about the history of the prestigious Poison Pizza Award. First was Dylan Guenther with his 2 goals. That happened on the first game of the season back on October 8th, 2024. Lawson Krause had the game-winning goal in February. And now, 1 month later, Alexander Kerfoot, 1 goal, 2 assists, a game-winning goal. And he pots his way to the Poison Pizza Award. So congratulations to our guy, Alexander Kerfoot, for having a great game today. 1 goal, 2 assists. And again, the redirection to put it in the back of the net, that was awesome. Terrific play. So there we go. There it is. The Poison Pizza Award being accepted by Alexander Kerfoot. A very stern Alexander Kerfoot. So that's what that looks like. Okay, so Utah Hockey Club takes care of business against the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, I'll take care of a little business here. As we take a look here, they come away. The other one I'll just say is it was cool. The fight today, it's one of those like where you know you're doing great things when you have to fight because you're just beating everybody else up. So Jack McBain, congratulations to you. You know, the expressway. After knocking down a couple of Chicago Blackhawks, Jack McBain made Patrick Maroon have no choice but to come over and try to punch him in the face because every other player that was coming over to him was getting knocked on their rear end. He did a great job and had to fight late, and that was not an easy thing to do. I think he had just finished his shift. He had just made 3 really big hits in a row. He was causing all sorts of trouble out there. He had a great shift. And that's the way that all shook out. So, yeah. So that's how that all looks. All right, let me do it for you, Car Wash. You asked. Let's see. My March Madness bracket. Let me take a look here. I'm doing it on ESPN.com. I have 1,000 points right now. This is for the March Madness tournament. 1,000 points. I'm at 93.8%. My rank is 1,425,263rd, so I'm close to number 1. Let's see here. I've got so far everybody in my Final Four is there because I did the thing. I took Houston. I've got Duke. I've got Florida. Did I do this right? Am I reading this correctly? Yeah. So I've got Houston, I've got Duke, I've got Florida, and I got Michigan State. Michigan State over Auburn. That looks like it's not going to happen. So that is going to go down in flames. It looks like Auburn's going to win that game. And then my eventual champion, are the Houston Cougars. So there you go. Doing all right, though, in my group. I'm losing to one person. So I'm going to finish in second, it looks like. But that's not too bad. I'll take it. So, all right. Well, you know what? I think that's about all that needs to be said about this team. I mean, it's a long off season, and my plan is to try to do some more like podcasts and things like that in the off season to try to cover, all the things that we want to think about in terms of Utah Hockey Club. One of the biggest things that I am kind of perplexed at is, I wonder, it's like, how do they got to find a way to get better, right? And next season's team is pretty much set. I mean, they have a couple spots that they are willing to let players go. It looks like Nick Bukestad is no longer going to be on this team next year. It's just the way it's looking right now. They have not yet signed Michael Carcone, so there are two potential spots. There are, there are multiple millions of dollars in cap space available to them. Let me just take a look at that. The draft is going to come up. They may make another big move at the draft. Yeah, they're sitting on $7.71 million right now in cap space, so they can make a couple moves coming up, and so we'll have to see if they get aggressive and do something bigger in this offseason in order to get better. The two spots that they're looking to potentially improve are Bukestad and Carcone, and I think those are two spots that you can improve in the free agent market. So we won't go down the road a whole lot, but it's clear that they've already got their blue line is completely solid. They've already got everybody under contract. So unless they're willing to trade around one of these players that has like a 1-year deal left, I mean, I don't expect them to trade somebody like Dursey or Sergachev. But I would say, I guess there's a chance that these other players that are on 1-year deals might get traded. But it looks like they're going to be in a spot where they are running out the same group next season. And my question is, you want me to do live fan interviews? All right. It's not a bad idea. You want me to live stream live fan interviews? Okay, cool. I'd have to figure out what that looks like exactly, but it's a good idea. We will think about that one and see how to make that work. I don't know if it's over Zoom or if I go out into Wild. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Because anyway, that would be interesting. Certainly, you've earned a spot on the live fan interview car wash. So that's the thing is I struggle to see where they're going to get a lot better. So the question is and it's one of the things we talked about. I guess they're going to just play this thing out until they're officially out. And so I guess as it relates to that, they're at 78 points. The top total points that they can get to now with 8 games remaining is 94 points. So with them being at 94 points, this means that if St. Louis or Minnesota, whatever team is lower in the future, as soon as they get to 95, Utah is technically out. But that's changes if Utah loses to Calgary, their top total points go down. So there's a two-way street on this, and obviously that'll be an interesting thing to kind of monitor. But the low team on the totem pole versus Utah potentially losing and dropping their way back. But that's kind of where they're at. So it looks like they're going to continue to play the main guys. But again, I'm interested in seeing Villalta and seeing if he can play, NHL hockey and whether we have something there and have a backup goalie. That's certainly a place where they need to look at trying to get more solidified next season. And then the other one would be Michelli. I know that he's had a rough second half of the season. It clearly seems to me like this is a player they're ready to move on from and trade. Of course, his trade value is probably all the way in the tank now, so it'll be an interesting problem for them to have to go out and solve. But hopefully they can do it. But those are the main things to kind of think about following tonight's victory over the Chicago Blackhawks. They are able to crank out a win. They get it on the strength of some unlikely sources. Nick DeSimone coming up with the big goal. That was kind of a surprise. And then, of course, the great performance from Sergachev during that quick window where he scored a goal and then right afterwards sent one to the net that got deflected by Kerfoot. That was one of the best finishes of the season. That was a great finish by Kerfoot. And then Yamamoto gets a goal, and the fifth goal of the night goes to Logan Cooley. So that's where we're at. The other thing that we are paying attention to, just because we like people getting their money, we are a big fan of people getting their money, right? Let me just make sure that I can confirm this. So let me pull it up real fast. But I believe that Logan Cooley, yeah, he's sitting on 22 goals and 33 assists. So here's where he's at. Logan Cooley needs 2 more assists before the end of the season. If he gets 2 more assists, that's going to be a $250,000 bonus for him. If he gets those 2 more assists, and then right now he's 5 points away. So he just needs a combination of goals and assists that add up to 5 more points. If he gets to those 5 more points, it puts him to 60 points on the season. And if he gets to the 60-point mark, he gets an additional $250,000. So hoping for that for Logan Cooley. Certainly he's got things to play for here during the last couple games. An extra $500,000. An extra $500,000 is a pretty nice thing to go out and be able to collect for yourself. On that, Dylan Guenther also, he's up to 26 goals and 25 assists, so he needs 10 more assists to trigger his ELC bonus. He's not going to get to that, but he is at 51 points. So the question is can he rack up 9 more points in the last 8 games? And if he does, he'll be able to take in another $212,500. So they're just on different structures of what their bonuses are because Dylan Guenther's a little bit older and was drafted a little earlier. So both of those players need to score a lot of points in order to get their bonuses. And again, that's no small thing, an extra $500,000 for Logan Cooley. His contract was only for $950,000 this year. So going from $950,000, he's already collected an extra $250,000 because of scoring over 20 goals. But if he gets to 35 assists, it's another $250,000. And if he gets to 60 points, that's another $250,000. There is a cap on how many bonuses he can get, but he may not get it if he doesn't get to those places. So he can earn up to $1 million in bonuses this year. So that's something that we're rooting for. We definitely want for Logan Cooley, and hopefully he can get there. It's going to be hard for Dylan Guenther to get there, but it would be sure fun if he found a way to get 9 more points over the last 8 games. That would be a nice bonus for him. So keeping track of that, we're going to pay attention to that over the last 8 games. Next game is on Tuesday. They play the Calgary Flames. Tuesday night on April the 1st, they got the Calgary Flames at 7:30. We will plan on being on at about 10:30 that night. So we will see you late on Tuesday night when they take on the Calgary Flames. That is it for what we have tonight on After the Buzzer. Utah, big winners. 5-2 over the Chicago Blackhawks. Great play from Mikhail Sergachev tonight. I thought he was the best player, but in Chicago tonight, they gave the first star of the game to Alexander Kerfoot. So Alexander Kerfoot gets awarded the Poison Pizza Award, and he finds himself now the proud owner of the Poison Pizza Award for being the first star of the game against the Chicago Blackhawks. So congratulations to Alexander Kerfoot. What a big, big, big moment. What a career highlight for him. He's been thinking about that all his career long. When he was playing at Harvard, he had hoped maybe one day I can win the prestigious Poison Pizza Award when I play for a Utah franchise that doesn't exist yet. Hey, Car Wash, thank you for being here, and thank you for the advice. I see that you Streamlabs or Discord, do live streams on YouTube, and do subscribers or something like that. It's an idea. Yeah, thank you, man. I love that input. I'm going to think about it and see what we can do in the offseason to make this a fun place to be. And you're right. It looks like they are on a 5-game homestand. Calgary, Los Angeles, Winnipeg, Seattle, and then Nashville. And then they're on the road for their last 3 games to close out the year. So big 5 games here. It'll be fun. If you want a chance to go see them in person, you better get down there. You're running out of time. 5 more games left at home in the inaugural season of the Utah Hockey Club. They're winners today over the Chicago Blackhawks. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you real soon. We'll see you Tuesday night following the game against the Calgary Flames. Have a good Sunday evening.